of especially the plots and the ones which are within the municipalities. But I want to really tell this committee that even having waived this amount, although we got very important data for use, which we're using right now and in future, we also, Honorable Chair, increased the collection of rates by 100%, because initially we were collecting around 11 million, and we were able to collect in the tune of 23 million. Thank you. Your
okay, honourable members, I didn't want us to generate further debate on ROR.
As to your indulgence,
okay.
He's saying they collected 23 million and waived 87 million.
Senior Counsel Okongo Morgan.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chair, I'm sorry, but I'm just wondering, Governor, I've looked at the advert you placed in the newspaper for waiver. Why was it necessary for you to put your photo there, that you are giving waiver? I thought this was the county government of Kitui. I've looked at the advert. You see, your picture is there, and it's saying that the county government of Kitui. But the picture there is yourself. You know, did this increase the money you pay to the newspaper to give waiver?
Yes.
Why can't you just put an advert and tell people you are waiving? Why must you advertise yourself in this waiver?
What was the date? What was the date of that notice, Senator?
The notice is there, but what is so prominent is the picture of the governor.
Does it have a date? Maybe it was Father Christmas.
Chair, I personally...
And it seems you are still manual. You are telling people that for you to get waiver, come all the way to our offices.
Yeah.
Who did this?
I think that was done by finance.
Who is that?
Personally, I don't like putting my pictures on anything.
I'm surprised.
Even where we have projects, I don't put my pictures. But I think they were trying to copy what has been happening in virtually all county governments of Kenya.
You can't benchmark with bad habits.
No, I'm saying they, not me. Because as I said, as a person, I don't like advertising myself this way.
You know, the newspapers will charge you for this. The people of Kitui, the money we gave you was costed here. This space was charged by the newspaper.
But I saw the advert, and I think you are correct.
Did you reply?
He's talking about the county government of Kitui announcing that waiver, not the governor.
Yeah, but the photo
Yeah,
is...
but maybe... I don't know why it is done, but it is done by many counties, I'm sure, and maybe they may.
But you can direct them not to repeat. I mean,
yeah, I don't need it.
Thank you,
Senator Sifuna.
Chair started by saying to you, Governor, that a lot of people in this room and me outside this room respect you, so they don't expect to see things like this. So if it was my friend, the CEC for Finance who did this, you need to reprimand him. That next time, you don't want to see your photos everywhere. I know where that tradition is coming from. We used to have a governor in Kitui whose name I'll not divulge, where everything they did, even toilets, you know, their names are all over and their photos. You know, it doesn't help anyone.
Chair, Senator Sifuna.
Chair, we will wait until Wambua is governor of Kitui. We see what he will do. But in defense of the governor of Kitui, in your defense, you know, if you look at the prominence of the photo here, it's not anywhere near what we have seen other county governors doing. I am telling you, we see billboards here in Nairobi, and you can see the face of the governor 100 kilometers away. And then when you reach there, you're wondering what is going on. Has he died or something? Then you see there. At the bottom is where you see that there is a waiver of land rates. I will not mention names, but we have seen things here. And we have, as a Senate, I remember we actually had a debate on this matter. I think there was a bill.
No, there was a motion. I think there was a motion that was brought to the House. Yeah.
Because every single thing, if you drive around Nairobi, you will see a road project, the MCA, the member of parliament for the National Assembly,
This conversation needs to get to all Kenyans, that all these resources are public money. It is not your money. So when I see people putting their faces, including live coverage of Nyota projects, and the others claiming that this is the president giving the young people money, that money is our money. He should remove his face from there.
On a point of order, that one should be expunged from the record.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Chair, if we want to discuss
Order, members.
You are clapping when the senator was talking about governors.
No.
Clap harder when you talk about Nyota.
Chair, to be fair,
I think the billboards.
Can I finish my?
You should invite PS Mangeni here
Chair,
and ask
can I
the
finish
questions
my
today. We are doing
point?
Kitui.
Can I finish
Chair,
my
it's good
point?
to be fair.
Okay, let's allow
There
Senator
is-
Sifuna to finish.
There is a larger conversation about public resources and personification of projects and all these things. We have just started by saying when the county government of Kitui gives a waiver, it is not the governor giving a waiver, and his photo has no business being on the advertisement. So even these plaques, whether you have built houses in Mukuru, whether it is an airport you're doing in Narok or Nyota, remove your faces from there. That is not your money. This is public money.
Chair,
Because it is used to deceive Kenyans as if no other person can do this.
This is the thing Sifuna can say later in Citizen TV.
I mean, this
Now, order, members. Order, members. Order.
Conversation outside this room. Go and do it in TV, not here.
Order, Senator Chorake.
Kitui.
Chair,
I think every member has a right to express their opinions, and if we disagree, I will also give you an opportunity to express your divergent opinion. And
But
I think
ourselves to the audit queries.
I think I like it this way. We cannot be a committee that thinks alike. So let's proceed.
With your kind permission. You know now, I am getting to a place where I also need the protection of the chair. Because when we are having serious conversations about our country, you cannot tell me to take them to TV. I am not here for a show. I will do the show in the night. But I am saying this is a conversation that has emerged out of the audit query.
So I think
Can I also be asked?
for us on other grants and subsidies, because the governor says you have an emergency fund, and for you to have an emergency fund, it needs to be funded. For it to be a fund, it needs to be funded, isn't it? Now you have a situation that requires response from an emergency fund. Are we going to watch the citizens of Kitui die because you have decided to do other things and not respond to emergency? There is a line there on emergency relief and refugee assistance. Ideally, that's a line where you demonstrate how much you have put aside to deal with emergencies. And it is blank, it is zero. Note number 13, other grants and subsidies. Yeah. So there is zero on emergency relief and refugee assistance. What are we telling the people of Kitui who are facing drought? Are they on their own? 26. Because you see, it's when you come here, we just should not talk about the theory and the accounting standards, but put into context what the citizens are facing. Yes, Governor?
Mr. Chair, as I said, I can't at this point in time produce any documentation to show the money is in the fund. But what I can vouch for, because I'm the chair of the County Executive Committee, where the budget passes before it goes to the County Assembly, and who signs the appropriation bill, the money, 20 million, is there, and it can be used to address any emergencies and to deal with the relief issues, even as it is, because it has been appropriated as such by the County Assembly.
Chair.
Senator Mbua, Senator Chirati.
So then, Chair, I would then request the governor to confirm that even in the situation that we find ourselves in, then that money, that fund has not been utilized to respond to any emergency. Has it been utilized?
Yeah, it has. You know, emergencies is not just lack of food. We have emergencies where people have accidents. We have emergencies where people are attacked by people from across the border, and we have responded to those emergencies. We have emergencies when there was a lot of rain where people were affected. We do respond.
Then in that case, Chair, there should be no difficulty then in responding to your question. It means it seems that the fund is up and running. Then there is money in the fund. You are already responding to emergencies.
You see, Senator Mbua, if the law requires 2% of total revenues to be set aside, 2% of 11 billion would be 220 million. And what they've set aside is 20 million. So I think I wanted us also to have that background.
Chair, maybe in line with that, about the law demands that 2% should go to emergency. Is there a legal framework on the emergency preparedness in Kitui? Number two, I have seen you have given subsidies to public entities of 49,361,584, yet you have allocated zero to emergency relief and refuge attendants. My question, Governor, who are these public entities that you have given them 49.3 million? Number two, does it mean the drought situation at the moment in Kitui County has not escalated to the situation then and now that it needed attention of allocation of resources to address the matter? Thank you, Chair.
Yeah,
Governor?
Chair, the 49 million is a subsidy given to our water companies, the two water companies. And when they provide water, they are also addressing to emergency issues. So the money is usually to help them with electricity bills, to pump the water from Masinga to Kitui all the way to Kitui, a distance of about 65 kilometers, and the other one from Kiampere to Mwingi, almost 80 kilometers. So that's a subsidy. And there is a correlation between drought situations and addressing them by having the water companies taking water bowsers in areas and the people get access to that water.
Auditor General, did you see an emergency fund established in Kitui?
Chair, not yet.
I would have expected that that would be a very substantive audit finding. In fact, the other conversation you have had on CES, I would have expected the Auditor General to raise it as well. But on this particular one, this ought to have, because it sticks out. We know that Kitui is a county that is at risk. And when you set aside 20 million, as compared to the minimum 220 million that is required by law, I mean, it's insensitive. And so, Senator, I think Cherargei has asked, does it mean that the situation has not escalated to a point where it is an emergency? I think let's talk to the reality on the ground.
Senator, when it comes to emergencies, our county governments, including our own, they respond to them. We have the National Drought Management Authority, which is based in every county, and the county government is a member. And various partners contribute to the kitty to respond to any emergencies, and there are many of them. And they meet almost every month. The governor, the chair, and occasionally the deputy governor also attends. So we have a framework which works, which deals with emergencies, and it has worked in the past, and it can also work now. The percentage you are talking about, 2%, setting aside 220 million every year, I must admit the amount we have set aside is not there. It's 10% of that. And going forward, we may have to look how we can boost the fund, but I want to be very honest. Having worked in county government before and now, it may be very difficult to set aside for any county. But since you've been here, maybe you can indicate to us which counties have done that. We can learn from them. To set, for any county to set aside such a colossal amount of money and put it in that particular fund, waiting for...
Governor, you see the advantage that you've been in public service for a while, and you know where the law says shall, it is not a suggestion. It is not something subject to negotiation. It is mandatory. It is couched in mandatory terms. And I want to encourage the members of the County Assembly present, because these budgets, they go through you, that you must also insist that budgets are balanced in the manner required by law. Because there is no way you would then pass a budget without the 2% allocation to the emergency fund. And the good thing about the emergency fund is that it will have a fund administrator, it will have its own financial statements, it will give you the flexibility to make a donation or a contribution to the committee that you are referring to, the County Disaster Committee. Without that, then you cannot pledge anything. I had governors yesterday pledging waivers and all sorts of things, roadside declarations, things that are completely unacceptable. So I think we expect the Auditor General to follow up this matter. But as things stand, the law has not been complied with, which also indicates that we are not very sensitive to the drought situation on the ground. Maybe sitting in Nairobi, I might have the wrong impression.
Chair,
I'm not interrupting you, but I've just been corrected. The law itself talks at most 2%. It uses that language.
Yeah, so you see, the law is not
2%.
Yeah.
Which means you can put
1% is okay.
Even if you put 1%.
No, as a renowned economist, I do not think that is an argument you should accept from any of your students.
Chair, there was an issue of whether the county has a legal framework on the issue of handling of emergencies. Because why would you give subsidy, for example, this 49.3 million, if you have allocated and ensure you can still give subsidy as part of the emergency response would be? Finally, Chair, there is a question that you have asked. I thought Kitui, one of the biggest challenges is a drought high-risk area. So ordinarily, the county government will be keen to ensure that they give enough resources for the drought risk management. Chair, because, for example, if I come from a county that has a lot of rains, the more money tend to be fixing roads. So I thought Kitui, since Kitui is a normally high risk, they should have been able to factor at least 2% or even give 100 million. Then subsidies that they are giving to entities of water and many other water tracking and electricity bills should have been taken from that allocation. So my concern, Governor, is there a legal framework that guides your emergency situation within the county? Maybe the MCS will be able to clarify. And finally, on this 2%, even if it is 220 million, I think it's too little to give 20 million. Should be have even 1% of the entire allocation. And by the way, you have indicated, Chair, in his response that there is support from the national government, from donor partners. So how much contribution, I know this is a concurrent function, how much contribution does these other actors contribute in terms of handling emergency, such as drought situation in Kitui? I yield back.
Okay, honourable members, we can allow the governor to respond so that we go to the other issues that have been cited in the report.
If I may just respond to the last one about what other partners contribute, it all depends on the situation. Because we meet, we make assessments, and the partners will make pledges depending on the situation. So you can't give a specific figure at a given time. So when, for example, the rains have failed and there is anger, assessment, technical assessment is made by the National Drought Management Authority and a report discussed, and partners, including the national government, put in money in the kitty. And we also participate. Yeah.
I think we leave this matter here. The people of Kitui now have an idea on how responsive the executive is to this matter. I personally don't feel very comfortable about the responsiveness, but you need to do something to give that assurance. Let's come back to the report of the Auditor General. The first issue there, and I think the only qualifying issue on the financial statement, is on unconfirmed trade and other payables. Auditor General, you can just read your finding, and then we get the Governor's response.
Thank you, Chair. This is the report of the Auditor General for the year ended 30 June 2025. Unconfirmed trade and other payables. The statement of financial position, and as disclosed in Note 32 to the financial statements, reflect trade and other payables opening balance as at 1st July 2024 of Kenya shillings 546,435,251, which differs with the prior year audited financial statements closing balance of Kenya shillings 835,868,265, resulting to an explained variance of Kenya shillings 289,433,014. Further, the current year's payables balance of Kenya shillings 626,406,908 includes payables amounting to Kenya shillings 89,848,440, which have been outstanding for more than 2 years, with some dating back to the year 2015. Management has not put in place measures to settle the debts. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of trade and other payables balance of Kenya shillings 626,406,908 could not be confirmed.
Governor?
Let me ask the Accountant General to read the response you have given on page 5 of our report.
In response, Mr. Chair, we have said that the variance between the opening balance and the closing balance was as a result of review that we did on the opening balances of the pending bills, and some of them were not.
Is it possible to read verbatim first?
Just read verbatim.
Yeah, just read the response on page 5.
Okay. The current opening balance of 546,435,251 was arrived at after review of the closing balance of June 2024 of Kenya shillings 835,868,265, which included bills cleared by the Pending Bills Review Committee of 2022 and the Pending Bills Review and Advisory Team, but lacked some critical documentation necessary for payment, all which included amount of full LPO, while part of the is payable by the county executive. Level 4 hospitals are reporting entities, and therefore their pending bills will be paid and reported by each hospital. At part 2, long outstanding payables of Kenya shillings 89 million. The amount of Kenya shillings 89,848,440 comprise of projects contracted between January 2024 and December amounting 40 million, and the remaining amount of Kenya shillings 49 million for contracts entered into before August 2016 and December 2023. These are mainly pending bills cleared by the pending bill review and advisory team. The bills will be prioritized for payment in the current financial year 2025-2026 and will be cleared on the basis of first in, first out. During the year under review, the county executive totaled bills valued at Kenya shillings 546 million 435,251, comprising of 90 million recurrent and Kenya shillings 456 million development. We have attached the bills of the list of the bills that we are paid.
Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. Management has put an analysis of the 289 million, and then they've also broken down what has been paid and what has not been paid. So that is still.
Auditor, from an elementary perspective, the closing balance and opening balance, why should they be different for the same entity?
Chair, they were moving from cash basis to accrual basis. So they were looking at what they could support, and that is what they reflected in the financial statements.
So that explanation was not offered during the time of audit?
No.
National Treasury?
Chair, an opening balance must be there because they are the balances that were carried from the previous year. And it will form part of the closing balance at the closure of the year because still it has not been paid. So I am wondering, how will the county put that balance that they have said is not yet analyzed? The circular from Treasury was saying that those pending bills, the payables, that we are calling them payables in the accrual basis, they should analyze, and those which they are sure of, they put them as opening balances. That is what the circular was saying. So if they've not put, I am imagining the closing balances then for this current year only, if they never had any opening balance.
Okay, now I think the accountants are beginning to confuse us. We knew that the balance you close at midnight should be the balance you open at in the morning, at 6 in the morning. And that is what the auditor queried. You said that 546 differs with prior year audited financial statements. And I think it was on that principle that closing balance and opening balance were different, yet they ought to be the same. So, Auditor General, this 289 million that has been isolated, where does it go? Is it a write-off?
Chair, it's not a write-off. I totally agree with my colleague from Treasury. They were supposed to do an analysis of what they can support. And this was included in the statement of opening financial statement of financial position. And that is what we audited. But because they had not given us the nitty-gritties of what with this balance of 289 was for, that's why we had to query it. But what they've told us is that the 289 had not been supported. And that's why they are not bringing it forward as part of their payables.
So in your first paragraph, do you still have a problem with the entity, or you are convinced that they did the right thing?
We shall go back when you're doing the audit to look at the 289 that they've put aside.
So there's still some pending verification?
Yes.
Senator.
So Chair, what I'm getting from the explanation from the accountants, and it's true they're beginning now to confuse us. So what you're saying is that in this transition year, we shouldn't expect that the closing balance the previous year will be the same as the opening balance for the preceding year. Because you have given them a discretion to determine what payables are realistic and correct in their own analysis, and which one they can say we write off?
For the time we have been in these committees, we have realized that counties have complained of the pending bills. They are saying they cannot support them. And we didn't want to force them to the things that they cannot support them. But they must be very sure what they will put in the statements as opening balance. It is what will stand forever. The rest, we do not know they are not their pending bills. That's what we want, because we could not tell them, put these in the pending bills, carry them to the current now accrual basis of accounting, and they cannot support them. That's why the auditor is saying they cannot support those pending bills. They have only the figure. And all circumstances, any entity that was a going concern, continuing, it must have an opening balance for its payables. It may not have the receivables because it may have been in cash basis. So they were paid in cash and finished.
Sorry, National Treasury. I think looking at the time and the length of time you have sat, and maybe just being considerate, we can take a 5-minute break, 10-minute break. It's a 5-10-minute break. Then we come back. Yeah, we just adjourn for, let's say 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yeah, we adjourn for 10 minutes.